is about you. You are the selling point, and the landscape is changing. So be your authentic self, because no one wants to go to work being miserable all day. Look at your own resume, look at your own LinkedIn, and look at your impact and what you have provided for that other company. And if you write things in that context, you're going to talk to the next employer.
In my opinion, it's about giving the customer what they really want and just blowing their mind once they get it. And that's what I really love to see, honestly.
Get people to do more of home cooking, home cooked meals, healthy meals, so we can all live long and happy.
I'm very proud to be a mom, because not for nothing, women are amazing.
Oh my God, the sacrifice, and how we make it look so easy.
I was just telling Joanne before we got on the call, I said, I had to run from my daughter's school. They had an Easter egg hunt. I said, all right, Mom, I gotta go to work. But, you know, just as moms, we make it happen, you know, supernatural abilities. We are the example for them, you know, and I know that with them being a better version of us.
You have to try. You never know how creative you are until you try. Because I didn't think I was creative. I found my creative side during a horrible time in my life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday Lunch and Learn. We are super excited to have you on today. It is still Black History Month, and I don't know. Look, last night I had to do a whole lot of woosah, just put it that way. There's so much going on in this world. Yesterday there was a meteorite, an android that was supposed to be passing by Earth. Like, there's so much going on in this world. So definitely being in a space of just taking a moment and taking a breath and being thankful for where we are and who we are connected to and our circle. And speaking about circles, my name is Athenia Rodney, for those who are just joining us for the first time, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. And we are in Black History Month. And the challenges that are continuing to circle around us are beyond me. So I am very excited and very happy to bring on today one of my friends, a fellow New Yorker, in so many ways, in personality, in mindset, and thought process. We were just talking behind stage a little while ago about so many things that we as moms, as spouses are going through. And it falls in line so much with what we're going to be talking about today, which is the history of the Black family. And so I want to introduce to you and bring on Dr. Lisa Shell. She's an educator, she's a historian, and a passionate advocate for Black studies. Dr. Shell is originally from Roosevelt, New York, and has built an incredible career centered around education, leadership, and the preservation of Black history. And we definitely need that, especially right now in this time where education, Black history is being erased. And with the challenges with the Department of Education, I can just go on, but it is very much needed. So you are very much appreciated, and I'm very glad to have you on with us. She holds associates and bachelor's degree in Black Studies, a master's in urban studies, and a doctorate in education with a specialization in leadership. She is also a leader of our Gwinnett County Mocha Moms. So if you are a mom in the Georgia area, that is definitely a space to be able to join. And I'm going to stop there. Welcome, Dr. Lisa. How you doing?
Hey, girl. I'm doing really good. Thank you very much for having me on for the history of the Black family. And yes, I am from New York. I'm a New York peach now. That's what we call ourselves, because we never lose that edge.
Exactly.
And there's so many transplants down here. It just feels like home. And meeting dynamic individuals like yourself just brings a lot to my heart. That you still fly back to New York to take care of business.
I do. It is always my home. Everybody's like, when you gonna bring all of that to Georgia? And I'm like, it soon come. It soon comes.
Yes, because we need it here. We need it here in Gwinnett County. And I think that just from our chapter, Mocha Moms, it's needed, it's wanted. Everyone still wants to have their identity, and moving, when I start the presentation, there was a great migration up north, but now what we're seeing is the opposite, the great migration down south. And I know, for one, even though I teach it, I really wasn't prepared for the Southern not hospitality.
You mean the New York hospitality coming to the South?
Because, they do look at us a little bit different. But the racism and discrimination is different. We have it in New York, but it's different here, the way they do things. So it's just kind of learning a new way of navigating those waters.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we're going to get started. I want to bring up your deck and kind of give you the floor.
Okay. So usually I teach this in a classroom where there's interaction. My students are asking me questions. And just so everyone knows, I teach Black studies, but my classes are not just full of Black and brown people. I have people from all nationalities that actually take the class. So
we got on. So that just means that we need to hear your voice, y'all. So I know y'all eating, walking, doing exercise. Look, we are multitaskers. So we definitely understand, but we want to hear your voice in the chat as well. So thank you, everyone. I think we got Tiara Berry. She says hello. We got Girl on a Mission. She says hello. We got Ivory Ellison. She said New York City in the house. Hello, ladies. So
what?
New York is in the building. All right, go ahead. I pass it over to you.
So basically, we're going to talk about the history, the legacy of the Black family. Our journey, the journey of the Black family in America, I just want everybody to know it's rich, it's complex, and our history is deeply intertwined in the history, not just in the United States, but the history around the world. There are going to be a couple of timeline things I'm going to hit on. And again, if you have questions, by all means, put your question in the chat. We're going to talk about slavery, from slavery to freedom struggles, the resilience that has shaped the Black family and the dynamics. We want to talk about civil rights movement and the family, the unity that strengthened our community ties significantly. We also want to talk about modern challenges and the triumphs of today. What is our key to success? Our history, our past. In the 1800s, the Black family faced extreme adversities during slavery and segregation. To the present, today, many Black families still experience systematic challenges despite progress in the civil rights. So when we talk about the Black family, we always want to talk about our culture, our heritage, roots that shape the family structure today. The history of the Black family in America is a testament to our resilience, our strength, and unity. It is a story woven with threads of adversity and triumphs, detailing how African American families have navigated profound challenges while nurturing our community, culture, and identity. The origins of the Black family in America trace back to the 17th century when Africans were forcibly brought to America as enslaved individuals. During this period, families were often separated due to the brutal realities of slavery, where individuals were brought and sold without regard to family bonds. Despite these harsh conditions, enslaved Africans forged family connections and kinship networks that provided emotional support and a sense of belonging. So we were always close-knit. We were always trying to get back what we had from Africa. Following the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 and the end of the Civil War in 1865, African American families began to unite and rebuild. Many sought to formalize their marriages and establish homes in an era marked by newfound freedom, but also by new challenges. The Reconstruction era brought opportunities for some African American families to acquire land, for us to gain education, to participate in civic life. All through these gains, although these gains were often met with resistance and the rise of discriminatory practices such as the Black Codes and Jim Crow laws. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So let's talk about the Great Migration. In the early 20th century, the Great Migration saw millions of African Americans relocating from the rural South to urban areas in the North and West. This movement was driven by the search for better economic opportunities and the desire to escape racial segregation and the violence. In these new urban environments, Black families adapted by creating our own vibrant communities. We established churches, businesses, schools that became pillars of support and our cultural expression. In the mid-20th century, brought the civil rights movement, during which Black families played a crucial role in advocating for equal rights and fighting against racial discrimination. Families were at the forefront of protests, marches, and grassroots organizations, working collectively to dismantle systematic barriers. This era also saw significant changes in family dynamics, with an increase of women entering the workforce and a focus on educational attainment. And if we look at this part kind of mirrors what we're doing right now. There's a great migration back down south, and that's because up north, I know my husband and I, we grew up in big homes, or at least we thought they were big homes, but we could not, and my husband is an electrician, could not afford the home we grew up in up north. So we did our research, and there's, as you know, Athenia, there's lots of people moving back down south because for us, it's economically sound for us to be able to move like that. So now when we talk about,
No, I just wanted to touch on that. I mean, because there was a article that was done in the New York Times maybe 2 years ago, what they were talking about the great migration back down south, and talking about how, especially after COVID, a lot of families decided to up and leave. And I was like, yep, I was one of them. Like, you know, I'm sitting there in New York. I see my friends who live down here in Georgia, and while I'm sitting cooped up in my little old apartment, and we sitting there taking turns with outlets trying to put our computers in, and we take it turns who gonna go outside at what time, you know, in the neighborhood, so that we can take the kids to the park so they can be outside. My friends just outside with no mask on, just freely frolicking, doing whatever, and I'm just like, well, why y'all able to be outside? I'm like, yeah, because I got a fenced backyard, and I got. I'm just like, and how much did you pay for your place? And I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to find a $800,000 or $900,000 house.
Yeah,
and I'm like, is this really what? So yeah, that great remigration back down south is real.
Oh, go back one, please. So what I was saying is today's Black families in America continue to evolve, like we were saying, and reflecting a rich, diverse diversity of experiences and configurations. They are characterized by strong kinship ties, often extending beyond our nuclear family and friends. And sometimes they're non-biological. You can move on. So let's talk about the nuclear family, the community support networks that strengthen family bonds significantly. A couple of things I want to touch on. And this is about, of course, Black family as a community in the US. The Black family structure extends beyond the traditional notion of a nuclear family, embodying a broader community that acts as a critical source of support, identity, and resilience within the United States. The Black family is not just a biological unit, but a dynamic community that often includes extended relatives and close family friends, creating a network of support that is both emotional and practical. This extended family model is an essential facet of the Black community, providing care and resources across generations. Within the communal structure, responsibilities are shared among various family members, ensuring that no individual is solely burdened. This can range from childcare to financial support, reflecting a collective approach of overcoming these challenges. The strength of the Black family is seen in its collective resilience. Through hardships, whether they are economic, social, or personal, the community rallies together, providing a safety net that helps individuals and families persevere. The Black family is full of cultural preservation and identity. It safeguards traditions, stories, and values that contribute to our cultural richness of the community. Family gatherings such as reunions or holiday celebrations are pivotal in passing down our cultural heritage. These events are opportunities. Every event is an opportunity to celebrate Black history, our music, our food, our customs, reinforcing for our children a sense of belonging and pride. How we've done it from Africa down into right now is oral traditions, oral stories, including storytelling and the use of African American language, are vital in maintaining cultural identity. Stories of our ancestors' struggles and triumphs are shared, ensuring that younger generations understand and appreciate the heritage. So what I want to say about this particular thing is just recently, and I'm 56 years old, my mother came and stayed for 6 weeks. Okay, she came and stayed for 6 weeks because my husband had a knee replacement. Look, I'm in the library right now with my son. So she was able to stay here for 6 weeks, and I was able to take care of my husband. My mother was here just for my son. So we we sometimes need outside help. And as a Black community, I remember growing up, going down the block thinking I was being sneaky. But the neighbors are looking out and they were like, I see you. Or my girlfriends across the street, their mother was from down south. She was like, every single last one of y'all I'm gonna beat. And I was thinking, I can't, y'all, what?
You ain't touching me. Like,
and my mother was like, she could beat you.
You can. That's back in the days. That's when they used to allow things like that. And I'm curious with everyone who is watching. So how many people, first of all, so during COVID, right? So as you were saying this, I was laughing because I was like, during COVID, we had gotten together to do like Zoom meetings with like my family from like all across, like, and it was like every week because we ain't had nothing else to do. So we was like, I just get on Zoom. So one of the sessions, you know me, I'm an event planner, so I had a whole theme to each session. So one of the sessions was, what's your real name? So we had Uncle Tutu, we had Aunt Leona. So I was like, so is that your real name? They was like, no, actually my name is Belithria. And I was like, what? Like, what? I'm 40-some years old. How come I never knew your real name? So how many y'all, I'm curious, how many people have an uncle, a cousin, an auntie that is not your uncle or auntie, but you call them uncle or auntie? And that just goes back to like what you were saying, that the whole idea that we created this communal environment, and that stems from our ancestry, like from back home, from Africa, and coming here wanting, and it's not even just within our culture too. I mean, I would say I used to live next door to these individuals who came from Mexico, and it was like 50 of them in one house. And I was just like, yo, like, where do y'all sleep? The lady was
on Long Island. Same thing on Long Island.
She was like, oh, she said, well, everybody got different work hours. She was like, some people work the morning shift, some people work the evening shift. And she said, and I'm just here dealing with the kids and making sure that there's food in the house for everybody. And I'm just like, we have gotten away from that, like as in our culture. Because when I hear the stories, like you said, passed down from my ancestor, from my aunts and my uncle, my grand aunts and grand uncles, they talk about how when one of them was at work, everybody used to be in the house, in one house, and in grandma's house, and they was sleeping on the floor. There's pictures of them sleeping in the drawers, like the yeah. Everybody's laid out on the floor. It's like 10 people head to toe on the floor. Like that was life. And I'm like, we've gotten away from that. Now we like, no, my child ain't going nowhere. I can't do that. So I'm thinking about that.
And we get that from our parents. I mean, like my mother was a single mother, and my grandparents purchased this nice big house on Long Island and everything. So we moved in with them. Mm-hmm. They were able to take care of me while my mother worked. My mother worked nights, and then she went back to school. I mean, it worked because she was able to look. She retired as the dean of nursing because she was given the opportunity, even though she was a single mother. Outside of herself, my grandparents jumped in, and took care of me. They made sure I was fed. They made sure I went to school. They made sure that I was taken care of so that she can do what she needed to do eventually to take care of us.
I agree. And I feel like just to your point, what some of the things, I mean, Mocha Moms, and we have a lot of Mocha Moms who are on, and I'm like, that is exactly why I joined Mocha Moms, because I was like, I need a tribe. Like, I am newly from New York. I only been down here 3 years, and I need people who are in a similar space mindset, like have a similar mindset like mine, that can be like, yo, I got you. Like, you got to do what you got to do. Like, I'll take them, I'll pick them up, or any of that. Like, I got 3 kids. I got some in basketball. I got cheerleading. So I'm like, I got to be
busy. You're busy.
How am I doing all of this? And the only way we can do that is with the tribe.
Because like one of the other mochas, she has 2 sons. One is he's learning, he wants to be a pilot. Mm-hmm. So every Saturday, she has to take him all the way into Atlanta. But her oldest son and my son, they're in this Delta leadership thing that goes on once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick up her son, take him back and forth. And if I can't do it, we've got another mocha. So we all work collectively to help each other get our children where they need to be. And also sometimes we need mommy time.
Yes.
Because you know, we try to give them the husbands, they are the head of the family, but we're the necks. And the head can't turn without the neck.
That part. I like that. I like that. That's a good one.
All right. So we're gonna go on and talk about economics.
Before we go to economics, though, I just wanted to because we are on the Juneteenth platform and you talked about just the conversation of how stories are being passed down. And to be honest with you, that's how I found out about Juneteenth and Kwanzaa, like holidays within the Black community are, I mean, I didn't learn about it in school. And my best friend, and I spoke to her last night, and she, you know, we always talk about this and I share it publicly all the time. I'm like, I thank her all the time because if it wasn't for her, I would not have even known about Juneteenth. I didn't learn about it until high school. And it was because she was like, I ain't going to school on Juneteenth. And I'm like, what the heck is Juneteenth? But she was the type of person, and I love her to death. Yep, I'm in your business. She be at the beach, like, this my day off, I'm going to the beach. So I was like, all right, what holiday now you done made up or conjured up so you can go to the beach? Black Solidarity Day, Juneteenth was like, she was at the beach, like not Kwanzaa, but you know. So I was like, you know, it really impressed upon me that whole idea that our story it lives on in our storytelling, and that we have to continue to do that, and that there is just as much substance in our storytelling as there is in the books that are in our schools, if not more, because the books in the school are not telling the whole story.
Right. I mean, and you from Brooklyn, and I'm from Long Island, and I went to Roosevelt Junior Senior High School, which was a Black school. Okay. I didn't learn a lot of my history until I went to Nassau Community College, and I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do. Let me take this Black history course. And I had mixed feelings because how come I didn't know this stuff before? How come I had to wait till college? And then I just had a love for it. So I, as you can see, I got my associates, I got my undergrad in Black Studies because I'm so fascinated. And we can't change our mindset if we don't know where we came from. That's the bottom line. Because some of us are lost because we don't know our history. And it's very unfortunate. And, you know, they're about to cut all the history out now. So it's our job to continue to do our oral traditions and explain, like my son knows not just about my mother, but he knows about his great-grandparents. Because with my classes, it doesn't matter what class I'm doing, family, Black family, history of the Black woman, pre and post-colonial Africa. At the end of every class, they have to do a family tree.
I love that.
I truly believe if you can understand where your family came from, you can understand their struggles, and then you can understand what you have to do to move forward in this society.
I totally agree.
Yep. So we're going to
we have a couple of messages here. We have, Melanie Rich said, times have definitely changed. Every weekend, my grandmother demanded all her grandchildren be at her house, and everyone came over for Sunday dinner. Yes. I miss the Sunday dinners. I'm trying to restore that here. I'm trying to be the mammy, but my schedule.
I'm the one who takes care of all of that for everyone, and I'm just a family person.
Well, where's my invite? I didn't get Sunday dinner invites.
Look, I put you on the list now, girl. I put you on the list.
And then we got Z Telly Bay said, I have a ton of relatives who I didn't learn until at their elder's funeral that they weren't biological family.
They was family, girl. They was family.
All right, now, go ahead. I'm gonna be quiet now. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go.
no worries. This is what I like. I like conversation. I don't want to be boring, you know. So let's talk about our economic challenges. Often necessitates collaboration within the Black family. This unity is not only about survival, but also about creating opportunities for future generations, generational wealth. Family members may pool financial resources to support education, to start businesses, or invest in property. This cooperative effort helps break barriers and build wealth within our community. Older family members often play a crucial role in providing financial wisdom and support to younger relatives. This intergenerational assistance helps navigate systematic challenges and aims to reduce economic disparities. I know for myself, when we moved here, my mother helped us here. My mother was like, "You gonna need more money than that." I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't ask for it, but because she's already been there and done that, she can see further in the future than I could. So the Black family serves as a sanctuary where members can express themselves freely, sometimes, unless you're a West Indian family, and receive unconditional love and encouragement. In society where racial identity can often be a point of external conflict, the family provides a space for Black individuals to explore and affirm their identities. This foundation is crucial for building self-esteem and confidence in our children. Oh, mental health and well-being. Emotional support within the Black family is so vital for our mental health. Whether going through open conversations, shared experiences, or simply being present, family members or extended family provide the emotional substance needed to withstand societal pressures. In essence, the Black family as a community in the United States is multifaceted and resilient entity that contributes significantly to the strength and continuity, of the Black community through shared responsibilities, cultural perseverance, economic collaboration, and emotional support. I know that I went through a situation with my son. Well, my son is ADHD and autistic. Didn't know how to deal with it. And I felt like I was on an island by myself and that nobody, even within the family, nobody understood my plight, what I was going through. So when we did do Mocha Moms, because of Mocha Moms, I feel like I found an extension of my family with mothers who are going through the same exact things that I was going through. And we talk, just talking to someone, just having someone listen to you means so much to that person. I'll get a text message, but I won't text them back. I'll call them back because I know exactly what that person is going through with their child who has these superpowers. So yes, we have an extended family, and the more we bond together, the more we can help each one help one. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that. We'll go to the next slide.
No, before you go to the next one, I mean, just talking about the economic parts, I do feel in it just spurred something in me that's like, well, I do feel like a lot of that may have happened before. I don't know that so much of that is happening now, where we are pooling because everyone is kind of like, oh, woe is me, or like, oh, well, I ain't got either. So, that being able to support somebody else. I remember, or the abuse of it also, right? Like the whole, I don't have life insurance, so I'm going to put out what you call it, the I forget what it's called, but they send it out and they ask it for money to help with the burials and stuff like that.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. And I'm like, there's so much shame. There's so much lack of support, I feel like, in that, where I think we're at now. I mean, even down to the point where we're going through with Target and them removing DEI, and everyone kind of, going back and forth with, should I just go there and support the Black businesses, or should I myself altogether from it? And I'm like, we have to be on one accord. Like, this is definitely where we, as an economic body of individuals, we are the highest consumers, and we are not utilizing our power in being able to do that. So not just being with the families, but also in how we affect society and how we make a change. I'm like, if it wasn't for us with the boycott, and that was a prime example of like us working together, like people taking car riding with each other, people walking, people keeping each other engaged while they got to do a 2 or 3 mile walk. Like, we are not doing those kind of things. We're like, nah, well, it ain't for me. Like, Target is right next door. Like, I got to go all the way over there to go to the store.
But that also comes with, again, an understanding. Like, they might hear these stories about the boycott and Selma and, Montgomery and all that. But until we get our next generation to submerge themselves to understand, I mean, everything isn't always, black and white, but we need to have the foundation and understanding in order to move forward, whether it's economics, whether it's childcare, whether it's just needing to talk to someone. We need to give each other that type of support.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There were a couple of comments I want to make sure that so someone put, I wish every family did this. I have an extensive family tree that I started when I was about 11 years old. Wow. Yeah, I've definitely, like I said, during COVID was definitely my time. I built out, we have about 250 family members on our family tree online. And people that I speak to, I'm constantly like, oh, you got to join, you got to add your lineage. Cause I'm like, I don't know people's kids. So I only know, the elders, but definitely I encourage you, if you haven't done something like that, to work on building out your family tree, your history, and then sitting down with your kids and some of your siblings. Cause my brothers and my, they wouldn't know the one.
I know my husband's family, his cousin, she did their family. She was doing her family tree at the same time I was doing mine. And she made a book out of it. And a lot of the family members brought the book. But now it's up to the next generation to add on to that book. I know that when I moved down here, I mainly concentrated on my mother's side of the family when I did my family trees. Okay. When I came down here, I was hanging out in the bedroom. So let me see what I could do about my father's side. Do you know I found 2,500 new family members?
Oh my gosh.
Because my father's family was from the South.
Okay.
Within an hour and a half from me, Anderson, South Carolina.
Wow.
Okay. And they had a whole Facebook thing. I'm in their Facebook. I'm talking to my cousins. My grandmother has now, she was the firstborn. Great grandpa had 16 kids. The first three were born in the same year.
Okay. The math ain't mathing, but okay.
The math ain't mathing, right? But she never knew her other siblings.
Yeah.
So she was very excited that she had nieces and nephews that were her blood nieces and nephews and not her husband's nieces and nephews. So it's good to know your history, and some of your family members will appreciate it also.
Yeah, and I mean, my brother almost, dated one of his cousins. So
Oh, Lord.
it's good to know. It's good to know your family so that you're not, shacking up with the wrong person.
Right, exactly. DNA.
Oh, Lord. All right, we go on to the next one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some legal challenges.
Ah,
Yeah, legal challenges affecting Black family unity. The historic landscape of laws in the United States has significantly impacted the unity and integrity of Black families. These laws, often rooted in discrimination and systematic racism, have shaped the experiences and struggles of Black families throughout American history. Remember, we had slave codes and family separations. During the era of slavery, slave codes were enacted in various states to control every aspect of enslaved people's lives. These codes did not recognize the marriages or family bonds of enslaved individuals, allowing families to be torn apart at the whim of slave owners. This legal framework laid the foundation for the systematic disintegration of family structures. Let's talk about the Black codes during the Civil War. After the Civil War, some Southern states enacted Black codes, which aimed to restrict the Black people and ensure their availability as cheap labor force. These laws often include vagrancy laws that could lead to arrest and forced labor of all Black men, further destabilizing Black family units by removing key family members. The Jim Crow era laws further enforced racial segregation and equality. These laws perpetuated economic and social disparities, making it difficult for Black families to achieve stability and financial security. The impact of these laws were felt across generations, hindering access to quality education and healthcare. And a lot of these things that I'm talking about play a part in today's society.
Yeah.
With the separation, we don't have, enough books. We might not have enough computers. They want to take away definitely Black history, any history, Black history, Hispanic history, women's history. All these different histories make up who we are. And if they continue to take these things out of the schools, we are going to have to do our due diligence to teach our children at home who we are, whether we're Black, we're brown, Asian, if we're women, men, what men go through. I tell my 11-year-old, he is extremely tall. He's 5'6". And I tell him, you're 11, but when society looks at you, they see a grown man.
Yeah.
Even if you open your mouth, they see you as a big grown Black man at this point. So you have to learn, and we have to educate them on how to conduct themselves outside of the home.
So I just want to jump in because I'm like, slave codes. I don't know if everyone is aware what exactly slave codes are. But slave code was a law. The law is set to establish and regulate the behaviors, movement, and treatment of enslaved people, primarily in the American colonies and later in the United States, as well as in other societies that practice slavery. These codes were designed to maintain control over enslaved populations and prevent rebellion. I feel like it did more creating rebellion than it did preventing it.
Yeah.
Whenever you tell Black people they can't do something, they're prone to do it.
Oh, no, you won't. No.
Like, no, you ain't gonna tell me I can't do that.
Yes, I will.
So we got a couple of comments in here. Sapphire Shark says, I would like for you to touch on the fact that it's misunderstood how some of us were sold by some people who look like us. And then he says, "This is your husband." So, in other words, don't erase my post. I want you to answer it. So, but they don't know that they thought it was a different kind of slavery. Many people don't understand it is, and more people who don't look like us, they go right to that. So generally, I'm getting that they're not understanding. So he wants you to explain a little bit more about those who sold others into slavery. You take the husband and drink it out of you. Come on.
Well, I mean, that goes back to, being our feet on African soil. And, you have a problem. There's one village here and there's another village here, and they get into arguments and fights and, civil war and whatever. And in order to win, some of the villages didn't understand that what they were doing, selling it. And when they sold us, they didn't sell us for money. They sold us for guns and food and, spices and things like that. So they, unbeknownst to them, how they were setting things in motion. The Africans who sold us did not understand what they were doing. Okay, if you go back to Africa now, my husband and I have been to Senegal. They actually apologize. They will apologize because they didn't know they didn't know the repercussions of their actions, and for hundreds of years that it would last like that. So they welcome us back when we come. So yes, we were sold into slavery by our own people. But that's the only way that the Europeans would be able to. They can't just come into a village and get us. They had to send us to get us.
So that kind of goes back to the crabs in the barrel syndrome. Yeah. Also, where it's like, oh, well, in order for me to be on top, that means that I have to push somebody else on the bottom. And one of the things that I've been sharing as my own mantra is those at the bottom pull each other down. Those at the top work together. And if you're just thinking about that, like, how can we do more of the working together as organizations, as individuals? I mean, even we just talked about it on as part of our families, like how we as moms, we work together so that we can get the job done. So if it makes sense in that space with our most, I call them precious goods, our babies, then why wouldn't it work in the same space with our businesses and other entities that we engage in?
Exactly. And again, that's why I like our organization, because we work with each other. Oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? All right, I need to come over here, or you need to help me. We help each other. I love the term, each one help one. So we'll move on.
Yes. All right. Get here.
These are things. Okay. So we also had laws that prohibited interracial marriages, reflecting the deep-seated racial prejudices of the time. These laws not only criminalized interracial relationships, but also sought to control the personal lives of Black individuals, limiting their choices and how they wanted to form their families. Historically, discriminating child welfare policies denied Black children access to formal child welfare institutions. These policies often resulted in the removal of Black children from their families, placing them in foster care and adoption systems where their culture and family ties were disregarded. The rise of mass incarceration. I don't know if you all have read the book, The New Jim Crow. Mass incarceration is still going on. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, have disproportionately affected Black families with high rates of imprisonment among our Black men. Many families have been left without fathers, resulting in emotional and economic hardships. This phenomenon continues to impact the structure and unity of Black families today. If you don't have it, a lot of our children don't get to see a mother and a father in the household for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because things that were set in motion from slavery days, as I know I said before, the family being torn apart, they never acknowledged if we were married. They didn't care. This child is 10 years old. He's old enough. I'm going to sell him off to another. So that instilled in us, men, women, children, that the family unit wasn't a priority.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, through oral traditions we passed down, and our grandparents, our great-grandparents have held that to keep us together.
I just want to, I know we're running low on time, but I wanted to highlight that because one of the reasons why I created our Black King celebration is for this reason alone. Like we don't understand, or a lot of us don't recognize how the men not being in the household, the men having, and in no way am I ever giving men a pass on having children outside of the household.
Right.
What it is a direct relationship to slavery, and how they were forced sometimes to procreate in one household, and then they were sold to another household in order to procreate, so that they were like, oh, you're a good stock. That's what they called me. You're a good stock. So you a bearing age, so you can go in and procreate with as much females and have them have kids so that they can have children that I don't need to pay for out on the street. So just thinking about that, those type of things.
They used to call them bucks.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call the men bucks.
Exactly.
So that they can go from place to place, making children. So these legal challenges have had lasting effects on Black family unity, with repercussions that are still felt in contemporary society. Understanding the historical context is crucial in addressing and rectifying the systematic inequalities that continue to affect Black families.
Next one.
The impact of economic factors on Black families. Economic factors profoundly affect the lives of Black families in the United States, contributing to persistent wealth disparities, the financial instability. These disparities are rooted in historical injustices and continue to be exacerbated by modern economic challenges. Wealth disparities between Black and white families are stark and have wide-reaching implications for Black families' financial stability and opportunities. As of the third quarter of 2024, Black Americans held only 3.4% of the country's total wealth, while white Americans controlled 84.2%. This gap in wealth accumulation is a significant barrier that affects access to quality education, housing, and healthcare. Income inequality remains a crucial issue, with Black households earning significantly less than their white counterparts. In 2023, the median income for Black households was $56,490, compared to $84,630 for white households. This income gap limits Black families' ability to save and invest, hindering long-term financial growth. Employment patterns further exacerbate economic disparities. Black workers face higher unemployment rates and are often last hired, first fired, leading to greater financial instability. In December 2024, the unemployment rate for the Black man and women was notably higher than that of the white men and white women, contributing to our economic insecurities. I'm gonna get through this because we're running low on time. Financial security is another area where Black families face challenges. In 2023, I think I have 24% of Black adults were unbanked compared to 4% of white adults. This lack of access to banking services makes it difficult for Black families to build savings and manage their finances effectively. Additionally, Black Americans are more likely to incur overdraft fees. I know I do, further straining financial resources. Access to credit is another significant challenge that impacts Black families. In 2023, Black adults with lower family incomes were more likely to be denied credit or approved for less than requested compared to their white peers. This disparity in credit access limits Black families' ability to invest in opportunities that could enhance their financial stability, such as education and home ownership. The ability to save for retirement is also affected by our economic disparities. In 2022, only 34% of Black families had a retirement account, compared to 61.8% of white families. This lack of retirement savings leaves Black families more vulnerable to financial insecurities in their later years. My conclusion: economic factors significantly impact Black families, perpetuating wealth disparities and limiting opportunities for financial growth and stability. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive policy changes and initiatives aimed at closing the income and wealth gaps, ensuring equitable access to banking and credit services, and supporting financial education and planning for Black families. So these are some of the resources that I used for this presentation. These are some of the books that I use when teaching. The next slide will give you my information if you need my information, my email address, my social media, and you could even give me a call. If I don't know your number, they'll leave a message.
I ain't using the phone. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Lisa. That was really amazing. And I'm just going to ask everybody if they can give us 5 more minutes, because I do want to go through a number of the comments that are here on the side. So we have Z said, in Bermuda, there are a lot of relatives marrying and older generation giant families, 15, 18, 22 children, all with the same 2 parents. Yes, but especially in the Caribbean, because they used to have a lot of families just because so that they can till the land and manage the property and stuff like that. So somebody said time for Saturday school. Yvette said time for Saturday school. I agree. We're gonna need to start reinstating doing some Saturday school for our kids so that they can. And that's exactly what I mean. The social groups and that are out there, what they're trying to reinstate as well. And we have Ivory said, and they are still family. These just talking about too. We got greetings. Hey, that's my mom. Hey,
mama.
Yvette says some is misinformation. It is not the truth that Africans only sold us to the white man. They did come in and rape and kill Africans to get our people. We were kidnapped just like they did the natives. Yeah, and I will add that we're also bamboozled because there were opportunities where they were offering us tools or resources like guns and weapons and stuff like that in an effort to get information from us, and we weren't aware that what they were doing. By the time they were like, oh, well, we gave you all of the stuff, they were like, oh, okay, well, you got to give us something for it. And the only thing that we had at those times were they would overtake the entire village because people didn't have, we were taking and not giving. Ivory said, yep, my mom used to make me stay home on Black Solidarity Day. See? Now I just hope that, and to that point, I just hope that if we are doing those things, that we're also taking that time to pour into our children during those days and not just letting them be and watch TV or watch things that are on. Sophia Shark said, don't forget about Willie Lynch. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Willie Lynch letters, how to make.
You know your camera is off. I don't know if you
I don't know what happened. It just went off.
Oh no. Okay.
The library internet. Yes, that's why we're married, because we had a 3-hour debate on Christopher Columbus. I was like, you know what? I like you.
Yeah, we see how it is. And I just wanted to go back. There was something that someone asked. Melanie Rich said, yep, times have definitely changed. No, that wasn't it. It was something. Mackie Samuel said, on another live stream, could you discuss the reverse Great Migration as advocated by New York Times journalist Charles Blow in the South to Black Power? So I'll definitely look into that and see if we can get if we can create a conversation around that. But thank you, everyone. This was great, Dr. Lisa. It was a pleasure. There we go. Having you on and all of the wealth of information. I felt like we needed 2 hours for this because there was so much content. And just being able to bring it home with how it is relevant to us today and what we are going through and how we are experiencing it and what we can do on the other side so that we're not reactionary, but we're actually planning on ways that we can prevent things from happening, because we see it coming to pass. We see things happening. Our new administration is making a lot of changes, and it is for us to get together, to bond, to do all of the things, to go back to the heart of how we got started, right? Working together, partnering, bartering, using each other's resources so that we can grow and that we can become better people as a whole, so that we can contribute to this society that we call America.
Right. And a lot of the things that I said about the past are still here in our present. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things that I teach, I'm like, well, what does that sound like? It sounds like stuff that we're going through right now.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, thank you very much again, Dr. Lisa. I'm going to put you backstage while I close us out, and then we can be brief afterwards. But hello again. Thank you, everyone. It was such a pleasure to go through all of that information and just learn a little bit more about how we as a Black family have come to be and how we can, again, come back to that. So I do hope that you took something away from that. We are here every Thursday from 12 to 1. We have conversations like this. So if this is the first time of you joining us, we welcome you and thank you for that. We are preparing for our events to come in June and look into our community again as we talk about support and what that looks like to jump in and to take on different aspects of that. So just want to share, this is our flyer. We are looking for vendors, for models, for designers. So if you are a model, and we have people coming from all over. We have people coming from Ghana to participate and be a designer for our event, from Florida and from the West Coast as well. So it doesn't mean that you need to be in New York. Although the event is held in New York, we have over 15,000 people who come to our event every year. And there is a virtual version. So if you're not able to be in person, we do encourage you to also watch us live on the 19th, where we'll have a 6-hour fireside chat conversation about different things that affect us in the Black community. What else do we got going on? These are the dates. Please save the date. If you are in New York during that time, we encourage you to join us. Please go to our website, JuneteenthNY.com, and sign up for our newsletter. We'll be sending out a lot of information, and our focus has definitely been, as of recently, on how we are supporting our businesses and how we're working. And a lot of us don't know how to market our business. So I'll be doing some workshops starting in March on that. So we look forward to having you for all of that. So again, thank you all for joining us. Again, my name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. Also, Mocha Mom here in Atlanta. Georgia area. And if you are not a Mocha Mom and you have watched, I definitely encourage you. It is a nationwide organization. As you heard, it is a wealth of resources and support system for you. So definitely enjoy and please join. So have a great one. I will see you next Thursday, everyone. And I look forward to connecting with you and making a better relationship for all of us. Have a great one.